Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be a part of this Korean virtual national event. I know a lot of you, this is your first ACN virtual national event, and I promise you, when this is over, you're going to be very motivated and very excited about your business. You know, as all of you know, we started ACN in 1993 in one state, in one country, and we were only offering one service. And here we are 28 years later. We're in 27 countries around the world. We have a wide and growing range of services and products all over the world. We have created hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. We've acquired millions of customers, and we have had a lot of success. And all of the success that we have had over the last 28 years doesn't even come close to the success that we're all going to have together moving forward. You know, all of you in Korea, we believe that Korea can be the #1 country in the world in ACN. And we want you to build a big business for yourself inside of ACN. And so what I want to talk about today is how you can build your very own business that grows inside of Korea and all over the world. And how you can build a big business is just making sure that you really get good at building a team of other IBOs. So I'm going to focus my message on how to effectively build a team, how to look at it the right way so you can truly have a lot of success. You know, I can tell you this, that, you know, I'm excited about being a part of this national call for a lot of reasons, but one reason is I have a lot of respect for the leaders in Korea. You have the very best leaders in all the world in ACN that are working with all of you. And if you just stay coachable and follow what they show you, I promise you, you could also have great success as well. Now, whether you're brand new in ACN or you've been around for a long time, you know, you just have to remember that the focus is to keep our business as simple as possible. And when you really look at our business, we all do the same thing. We do two simple things. We all acquire customers, and we all build a team of other IBOs who also acquire customers. Now, when some people become new IBOs, it's very easy for them to acquire customers. And for some people, it's hard to acquire customers. And when it comes to building a team, for some people, it's easy to build a team. And for other people, it's hard to build a team. And that's okay. If you just think long-term and you continue to go to trainings, you'll eventually learn what you need to learn to become effective at both of those areas, getting customers and building a team. But which is easier for you? That's a question that you have to answer yourself. But I can say this to you, that recruiting, I always thought recruiting was extremely easy if you looked at it the right way, okay? So I want to just remind you of some simple things that you always have to remember to become and always continue to be a great recruiter. Okay, number one is you have to remember that you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision to get started in ACN, but you also have to make a decision to follow through and never quit until you reach the very top position in ACN. It all starts with a decision. Now, once you've made that decision, the next thing you have to remember is that our business is not physically challenging. It's mentally challenging. There's a lot of other careers out there that are a lot harder than what we do. You know, but what we do is mentally challenging because not everybody you talk to is going to join us, and not everyone that joins us follows through. So you just have to remember that it's all a mental challenge. You're going to go through ups and downs as you build your business. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And it feels like an emotional roller coaster. And my advice to you is to rise above emotion. Don't let things bother you. If you have a good day, I want you to have the attitude where you say, great, I had a good day. If you have a bad day, I still want you to say, great, I had a bad day. And just keep moving forward every single day. I always tell people, you just take one, you put one foot in front of the other, and you take one step after another step, and it's just a matter of time before you get to where you're going. So rise above emotion and always look forward. You're going to continue to always go through a learning. You're always going to be learning. When you first get started, you learn the basics. And then you're going to eventually learn how to do presentations. And then you're going to learn a lot about other people. And so always be coachable, always be open-minded to learning. And it's just a matter of time before you will have the knowledge and experience that you need to reach the top position in ACN. Also have long-term thinking. Don't think about next week. Don't think about next month. Think about where you can be 3 years from now or 5 years from now. If you work hard, it's just a matter of time before this business becomes second nature to you. Anything you work hard at long enough, you eventually get very good at. So just think long-term and never quit. Because if you never quit, you will never fail. It's just a matter of time. So what I want to talk about is building a large team of other IBOs. Because if you really want to build a large business, you have to build a large team. So your ACN business is all about bringing new people in. New people will always bring you new customers, new growth, but what new people really bring is new excitement. Whenever new people join your business, they bring a renewed energy and a renewed excitement. New people not only are motivated for themselves, but when new people join your business, they motivate your entire team. They motivate you. I want you to imagine sitting down with a brand new person that wanted to look at the business, and you presented the ACN business to them, and they looked up at you when you were all done, and they said, wow, I have been looking for something like this for a very long time. You are so lucky that you talked to me, because I am going to build such a big business. My goal is to make you rich. Now think about that. There are going to be people that will join your team that will be so excited about ACN. That's exactly what they're going to be feeling inside. That's exactly the message they're going to portray. So when you think about it, it's not us that's motivating them. It's them, the new people, that end up motivating us. So our job is to always continue to bring new people in the business. So whether you're new to ACN or you're all the way at the top position in ACN, the key is always bringing in brand new people to your business, because new people will bring energy and excitement. They'll motivate your team, and they're going to motivate you. So when it comes to building a business, you always have to remember that whenever we talk to brand new people, you never want to prejudge, because it's very natural for us to want to decide in advance who we think is going to be interested or not interested, or who's going to be good or who's not going to be good. And we can't make that decision for other people. So our job is to always talk to everybody. Everybody we know, everybody we meet, we give them a chance to look at the ACN business. And the reason for that is when you talk to people, some of the people that you think will join our business will not join. And some of the people that you think will not join, they'll be the first ones to become IBOs. And the ones that you think will be good, they won't be good. And the ones you think will be bad will be great. Now, why does that happen? The reason for this is because you can look at somebody on the outside and you can try to decide what you think is going to happen. But what you can't see is what's going on the inside. What is going on in someone's life? And it always is a matter of circumstances of what is going on in someone's life, on whether or not they get involved or whether or not they work hard when they join. And we cannot see that. So our job is to talk to everybody, give everybody a chance to look at ACN, and let them decide if they want to get involved in ACN, and let them decide if they want to work hard and follow through and build a big business. So our job is to talk to everybody. Now, when we talk to everybody, you have to remember that everyone falls in one of three categories, and we can't change this. We're going to call them red apples, green apples, and brown apples. Now, red apples are people that say yes. Yes, I want to join your business. Yes, I want to become your customer. And we love red apples. Green apples are people that want to think about it. You know, they're on the fence. They haven't said yes. They haven't said no. They have a lot of questions. They want to think about it. And then we've got brown apples. Brown apples simply say no. No, I don't want to be your customer. No, I do not want to join your business and become an IBO. Now, just remember, some people will say yes. Some people will say maybe, and some people will say no. That's just the way it is. What I want you to know is that it's very important that you understand that we are not in the convincing business. We're not in the selling business. We're in the sorting business. We're looking for red apples. We're not trying to change a brown apple into a red apple. We're just trying to look for red apples and look for green apples. So when you build your business, always remember this. You want to spend your time wisely. You want to look for and work with the right people, okay? So when I say spend your time wisely, here's what I mean. Every one of us have the same amount of time in the day. We have the same amount of days in a week, and we have the same amount of weeks in a month. We all have the same amount of time. So it's how we spend our time which determines who becomes the most successful and the most successful the quickest. So here's how I want you to spend your time. Spend 80% of your time looking for and working with red apples. Let me say that again. You want to spend 80% of your time looking for and working with red apples. Spend about 20% of your time with green apples and spend 0% of your time with brown apples. Okay? Now, what most people do is they do the opposite. They spend a lot of time arguing or trying to convince brown apples that they should be interested. And they spend the rest of their time waiting for green apples to step up and go to work. Now, if you do that, it'll take you a very, very long time to become successful. You want to spend most of your time looking for the people just like us. You want to find people that want to build a business and that want to become successful so you can reach your success quicker. You know, the attitude you have should be an attitude of fun. When we talk to people, you just have to remember that some will join us, some wait, some won't. So what? Because I want to say that in a positive way. Some will, some wait, some won't. So what? Just simply move on to the next person until you find your red apples. Now, when you build your business, every one of you want to recruit and you want to build large teams. But you have to remember that it's very important that you lead by example, that you do more than you expect other people to do. And the reason for this is people don't do what you say, they do what you do. They follow what you do. So if you do the right things, your team will also do the right things. There's 4 phases of the business that everybody goes through. And it's important to know this for a lot of reasons. Mainly because if you understand the 4 phases, you can always readjust and get yourself more productive, okay? What are the 4 phases? Phase 1 is what we all should be doing. And we call that active recruiting. Phase 1 is when you are personally working hard, you are recruiting, you are inviting people to presentations, and you are leading by example. Now, when you're doing that, your business is going to be growing. You're going to be getting new IBOs to join your business, and there's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of excitement. But what happens is that whenever somebody starts building their business, eventually people slip into what we call phase 2. Phase 2 is when you're no longer leading by example. You're not recruiting anymore. You're just looking at your existing team that you started to build, and you start waiting for them to recruit. And we call that management mode, where you start managing your other people, telling them what to do, waiting for them to recruit people, and you're no longer leading by example. Now, it feels like you're working because you're talking to your team every single day. You're asking them what's happening. You're trying to motivate people, but it's not productive. And what happens is your team eventually does what you do, because people don't do what you say, they do what you do. So what happens is you're now in phase 2, and all of your people now start to slip into phase 2. And that forces you into phase 3. And phase 3 we call overseeing your managers. So now your team isn't working because they're managing, and you're definitely not working because you're overseeing your managers. Now, when this continues, you eventually get forced into phase 4, and we call that overseeing your overseers. I call phase 4 phase out, because this is where a lot of people will quit the business because they've lost all the momentum in their organization. There's no growth, and they don't even realize what happened. And what happened is they stopped leading by example, and their team also did the same thing by following what they were doing. And now you have this team of people, nobody's getting customers, nobody's recruiting brand new people, and all the growth stopped. So the reason I want to share this with you is because if you remember this, whenever you want to make sure your business starts growing, if you want to make sure you put yourself right back on track to success, all you have to do is one simple thing, and then it's go right back to phase 1. And that means you personally are the one that should be leading by example. You need to be inviting people to look at the business. You need to be recruiting. You need to work harder than your team is working. And if you do, you're going to lead by example, and your people are going to do what you do and not what you say. And they're going to follow your lead, and they're going to go back into phase 1, and everything changes to success. Leading by example is very, very important. And I'll tell you why. When you're in phase 1 in the business, it's a very fun business to be in. Phase 1 is fun because you're talking to people, you're excited, they're excited, things are happening. It's very fun. And people follow what you do. So not only is it fun, you've got growth. And when you're in phase 1, that is when you can start making lots of bonuses. So I tell everybody that the solution to all problems when it comes to building a business is always go to phase 1. If you're in phase 1, you'll always have fun, your team will be growing, and you'll be making lots of bonuses from all the new growth that you have. So let's talk about what phase 1 is. Phase 1 is recruiting. recruiting every day, all the time, whenever you can, okay? Now, I want to talk about recruiting because recruiting is very easy if you look at it the right way. And if you don't look at it the right way, it becomes complicated. I think it's so simple that I want to just kind of help you understand how simple it actually is. So what is recruiting? If you look at recruiting, there's 3 simple steps to recruiting. 3 simple steps. Step number 1 is you pique someone's interest and you invite them to a presentation. Okay, step number 2 is they actually sit through a presentation. And step number 3 is the new person goes to training. So think about those 3 steps. Step 1, you pique someone's interest, you invite them to a presentation. Step 2, you present the business to them. And step 3, they go to training. Now, when you think about that, somebody that's new must go through all 3 steps. If they don't go through all 3 steps, they're not going to be a good recruit. So you have to present the business to them. You have to train them so they know what to do. But let's talk about this in reverse. Here's my question to you. Can you train somebody that has not seen a presentation? And the answer is no. Can you present the business to somebody who has not been invited to a presentation? And the answer is no. So nothing happens until step 1 happens. Step 1 is piquing someone's interest and inviting them to the presentation. Step 1 is the most important part of recruiting, because if step 1 doesn't happen, nothing else is going to happen. So not only is it the most important part of recruiting, it's also the simplest part of recruiting and the easiest part of recruiting and the quickest part of recruiting. All step 1 is a simple question designed to reveal to you whether somebody is a red apple, a green apple, or a brown apple before you even start talking to them. Piquing interest is a question you ask somebody to pre-qualify them to determine whether they're worth talking to or not. Okay, I'll try to make it even more simple. Think of it this way. There's 2 types of people in the world when we talk to them about ACN. People that are interested in hearing what you have to say, and people that are not interested in hearing what you have to say. I think all of us agree that we'd rather talk to someone who's interested in hearing what we have to say. So when you pique someone's interest, basically that question is designed so you can ask them and find out whether they're a red apple, green apple, or a brown apple in advance. So I like to call it a test question. Okay, it's not a sales question, it's a test question. And if they answer the question right, they're allowed to go to the next step, which is the presentation. If they don't answer the question right, they're not allowed to go to the presentation. And that's how I want you to think about it. And the reason why is because I want you to imagine something. Let's say you asked me to join your team, and I did. My question to you is, would you help me? If you were the person that invited me into ACN, would you help me? Would you help me reach the first position in ACN? Would you help me get some customers? Would you help train me? Would you answer questions? If I was motivated and wanted to work my way all the way to the top of ACN and become a senior vice president, would you be willing to help me all the way if I was motivated and excited? And I think the answer would be yes. So when someone joins your team, it's an honor. It's an honor to join your team because you're going to commit a lot of time to help somebody. So when you ask somebody and you pique their interest, whether they want to look at an opportunity or not, if they don't answer the question in the right way, you should move on and find somebody who deserves to be working with you. I hope that makes sense. So obviously today we can communicate in a lot of ways. When you pique someone's interest today, you can text message somebody, you can email them, you can use social media to communicate today, or you can use the phone and call somebody, or you can see someone in person. And basically, whenever you're ready to communicate with someone, you want to pique their interest. Now, piquing their interest is simple to do. It's quick, it's easy, and it's fast. But you have to remember, it's a test question. I'm going to pique their interest, and I'm going to say one simple thing. Hey, I have a crazy question. Are you open to making some extra money? And you be quiet. Are you open to making some extra money? That's a test question, because I'm looking for red apples. I'll take green apples, but I'm not interested in spending any time with brown apples. So what's a red apple going to say? If I did this, I'm a red apple. If I did this, I'm a green apple. And if I did this, I am a brown apple. So it's easy to tell the difference between red, green, and brown. Brown apples, if anybody is negative in any way, they don't get to go to the presentation. Only green apples and red apples. The reason I'm taking my time and making this so simple is because I want you to realize how easy it is to recruit. Because none of us have to talk to anybody who is not interested in talking to us. And how do we know the difference? Is by asking them that test question, the pique interest question. Are you open to making some extra money? That's a test question. Yes? Red apples, you get to go to the next step. Green apples, you get to go to the next step. Brown apples, you don't get to go to the next step. So I'm sharing this with you because how long does it take to ask that question? It literally takes seconds. So the real question I want to ask you is, how many times can you ask that question in a day? How many times can you ask that question in a week? How many times can you ask that question in a month? So here's another thing I want to ask you. How many times did you ask that question yesterday? How many times did you ask that question last week? How many times did you ask that question last month? And that's what makes the difference between those who build large teams and those that don't. The people that pique people's interest the most will have the largest teams. And here's the reason why, is because when you ask that question, we don't know if someone's a red apple or a green apple or a brown apple. The only way you're going to know is if you ask that question. And so when you build a team, that's the thing you should focus on the most, is asking that question. And then when the person responds and they're a red apple or green apple, then you can invite them to sit down and do a presentation with them. But I want you to imagine that the reason it's important to understand this is because you don't know who's going to be a red apple. You don't know who's going to be a green apple. All you can do is ask the question. Now, when people start their business, what I would like all of you to do is to create as much momentum as you can in your business. You know, how many brand new people are joining your business every day, every week, and every month? That's the question you have to ask yourself. How many new people are joining my team every day, every week, and every single month? And the more people that are joining, the more success you're going to have. Now, everyone that joins your team, not everyone is going to be a leader, but you're going to find leaders just like you. You're going to find people that are motivated just like you. It's just a matter of time. So when people start in your business, you want to keep everything as simple as you possibly can. You pique people's interest, you invite them to presentations, and you keep the business simple. Okay. And when I say simple, how do you create momentum? Every time you present the business, the first step is just for a brand new person is just ask them, Make a decision. Would you like to join ACN? Yes or no? And when they say yes, great. Step 2, you tell someone to plan on going to training over the next 30 to 60 days. The reason you want to say that is because new people are excited about their new business, but they also have a lot of questions. They're also nervous about what they don't know or they don't understand. And you want to take the pressure off of people. You want to make them feel comfortable. So I always told people, step 1 is just make a decision to get started. Step 2 is plan on going to training over the next 30 and 60 days. Because all of you provide weekly trainings for your people. You have leadership trainings. We have customer acquisition trainings. We have trainings like this national event that we're doing for Korea. So you just tell people, plan on going to training. In the next 30 and 60 days, everything will eventually become second nature to you and you'll understand everything. But while you're going to training, let's go to step 3. Start inviting people to presentations. So if I joined your team, step 1 is to get started. Step 2 is to plan on going to training. And step 3, start inviting people as quickly as I possibly can so I can earn while I'm learning. I can build a team while I'm learning the business. And you're going to help me. The system is going to help me. While I'm going to trainings, all I have to do is invite people, and you, the leaders, you'll do the presentations for me. You'll answer questions for me. You'll help sign up people in my team for me. You'll help train my people and get my people going for me. So your job is to make it easy for the new people. You pique their interest, and the leaders do everything else. And all the new people have to do is just invite people so they can earn while they're learning. Now, how are you going to get customers? Well, customers are going to come from the new IBOs when they get on the services themselves. Customers will come from the people that you present the business to that decide not to get involved in ACN. We ask them to become customers. Our job is to keep the business simple so we can create lots of momentum. Everybody has to just pique interest every day, all the time, whenever they can, so they can get people to look at the presentation. And then when people see the presentation, just make a decision to become an IBO. Just start a plan on going to training through the next 30 and 60 days of their business, and start inviting people and let the leaders handle the rest. The system is what's going to help people build the business. When you start creating momentum in your business and you have new IBOs joining every day, every week, every month, the system will provide the trainings. The system will provide the presentations. You just have to lead by example by inviting as many people as you can into the business and making sure you're in phase 1. The system will work for you. The system that provides the trainings and the presentations and the leadership trainings. The system is what creates the knowledge so that all the teams can learn how to do the business. The system is what creates the belief and the excitement and the vision of the business. So all we have to do, all you have to do, is just get really good at piquing people's interest every single day, all the time, every day. Are you open to making some extra money? And as long as they're red apples and green apples, invite them to take a look at the presentation. Eventually, you're going to find leaders in your team. Leaders are not created. Leaders are found. There are going to be people that join your business that are going to be leaders the minute they meet you. They're going to know how excited they are about the business. They're going to make a decision all by themselves that they want to become senior vice presidents. Don't worry about creating leaders. Just talk to everybody, and it's just a matter of time before you find the leaders that you're looking for. So I just want you to know this, that for all of you, even if you're brand new to ACN and this is your first national event, or you have been around for a long time and you just want to get your business even bigger than it is right now, always remember, it's all about new people. If you're bringing new people into the business, you're going to bring a renewed excitement. Remember, new people will motivate your team. New people will motivate you. New people bring excitement. So you want to just remember, always go into phase one. You want to lead by example. Phase one solves all the problems in the business. When you're in phase one and you are leading by example, you're going to be having fun. Your team's going to do what you do. So it's going to create growth and you are going to make lots of money. So I want to thank you all for your time. I wish you all the very best of success. Thank you.